Okay, today we're going to start our Marlea Zacarias inspired paper mache project. For this, you need a piece of wire screen, and it has to be wire, it cannot be fiberglass. A piece of wood or board, size doesn't really matter. You can go something really small like this or something a little bit bigger. You're going to need some flour and water and some either paper, or in this case we're using paper towels. And then I've got some tacks to hold it temporarily, and some glue, and then scissors if I need them, okay? So the first thing I want to do is just start taking my screen and start bending. I don't want to bend any sharp corners. I want to keep it really organic and no sharp edges. So I want to just try some different things just by pushing it down and into place and see if there's some shapes that I like, something interesting. And if I find something that I like, I need to just take a tack and put a tack in here. This is temporary. The tack is temporary. It's not permanent. Okay, we're going to take this tack right out of there eventually. So I'm tacking it in place with those tacks, and then I think I'm going to take another one, put it here. But if I decide I didn't want that, I like that shape, I could move this. You know, I could try that, or I could try both. So, you know, you have to just kind of move the screen around and find an interesting organic shape that is flowing. And once you find that, then you just tack it right into place. Okay, don't worry if it raises the board off the table. It's not a big deal. You can either bend this a little bit more, or, you know, it'll stick up a little bit. That's not a big deal. Okay, so I've got kind of an interesting shape here. You may want to put one more tack in. Remember, these are just temporary tacks. They're going to come out. Okay, so I've got my tacks in here on my board. I've got my interesting shape. And now what I want to do is just take some Elmer's glue, and where it touches the board a couple places, I just want to put, this one needs to be shaken up. I don't think the glue is very good. Okay, I don't know if that'll help or not. Okay, it looks like my glue separated a little bit. So I squirted some on the paper to get it going, and I'm gonna wipe this off. Okay, so I want to take some glue, and just where it flat and touches the board, I want to put some glue on here, and I just want to blend it in there a bit. And we're trying to get it go through the screen, stick to the wood, and hold the screen down. So I'm going to come over here. I want to do it wherever I have a tack near that, so that when I pull the tack out, it'll stay. So here. And then right over here, I need to get some in here. And this one will be a little bit more tricky. And I'll just have to make sure that this is glued down properly before I take this tack out of here. So now I have some glue, and I've got this glued down multiple places here. And you just want to make sure that it's glued down before you pull the tacks out. So I won't pull the tacks out yet. If I have any stray strings of wire, I can just cut them off. So if you have a bad area, you can just cut it off here and just trim that up. So any stray ones, just trim it up. Remember, we want an organic shape, not a geometric shape, an organic shape. So no folds. Keep it very flowing and undulating, very interesting. You want to create some interest to it so it really moves. Now, once we have this done, I usually like the glue to dry and pull the tacks out, but because we're kind of hurting for time, I'm going to start anyway, and I'll just kind of stay away from those areas. The next thing you want to do is you want to have a bowl for your paper mache. So I'm going to take my bowl, and I'm going to take some flour and put it in here. I'll just put about half of this in. And so not too much. And then I want to put a little bit of water in there. And so after you do this a few times, you'll get the hang of how it should be done. So I'm just going to put a bit of water in there, just a tiny bit, and we're going to mix it up and see how this works. Now you can mix it up with your fingers. You can mix it up with a pencil. If you want, you can take a brush and mix it up with a brush. And so whatever you want to do. So I definitely need more because I don't want it to be pasty. I want it to be more like, I don't know, again, a thick milkshake would be good. And I just want to add a tiny bit of water each time. I'm stressing tiny again. The reason I do this because a lot of students put way too much water in there. And if this is too thin, it doesn't want to stick properly. You have to have it just right. Not too thick so it's lumpy, but not too thin that it won't stick. So we want to get all the lumps out of this. So just have to have the right consistency. A thick milkshake is about what you want. So it might be a little bit thick here. Again, I'm just putting a little bit of water at a time, trying just to do it slowly so I get the right consistency that I want in this. And so I'm almost there. It's still a little bit lumpy. I want to try to get those lumps out of there. But I'm getting close to the consistency that I want. See that right there? Now, if you don't have paper towel at home, you can use newspaper or other types of paper. A thinner paper works better. So that's why newsprint or newspaper works pretty good. Magazine sometimes will work well. You'll have to try it just to see how it works for you. Generally, I like to use paper towel in here. I think it works pretty well. And we got a lot of it, so that's always good. Okay, so I got most of the lumps out. There's still some lumps in there. We can try to brush those out as we go. Okay, so thick milkshake looks good. Now I want to take my paper towel and tear it into pieces. Now this is important. A lot of kids do this wrong, and then it never looks good when they do this wrong. And they're all tempted to make really big pieces. And I'm telling you right now that if you make really big pieces, you will not be happy with it because it will wrinkle. So big pieces means more wrinkles, okay? Smaller pieces take you more time, but it's better quality. So I would keep it at small pieces. So keep that in mind as you're doing it. If you get too big of pieces, it's going to wrinkle up. It won't look very good. Okay, this is like the biggest you should go here. This is the biggest, absolute biggest you should go. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to get some paper mache on my paper, and I'll start on top here where it's nice and easy. And I'm going to take the brush and brush it in. I've got to make sure that I get paper mache, the thick, gooey paper mache on all edges. And see, even with this one right here, you can see that with this bigger piece that there are even some edges here because of where it's placed, that it kind of wrinkles up a little bit. And if you have that, you can always take it and pull it off and just break it in half, pull it in half. You don't want wrinkles in it. So if you find that you're getting wrinkles because the piece is too big, just take it off. There we go. That's better. So sometimes I like the strips, more strips, because I think that kind of works better sometimes. And if you want, you can take several pieces and put it paper mache on them, and then put them on at one time. And then after you get 4 or 5 pieces on, then you can take your brush and just like work this in right here. And again, if you have a piece that's bad, that has wrinkles in it, then stop, pull it off of there, make it smaller, and put it back on. So you're going to get your fingers a little bit messy. I know that some students don't want to get their fingers messy, but I'm afraid that's going to happen. And if you take it slow, you'll find that you have better chance of success with this project. It'll be much nicer. So small pieces, take it slow. Make sure that you get the paper mache on the whole thing. And don't be afraid if you don't get it on there, just to take it off. Or if it's wrinkling, take it off and fix it. I think you'll be happier if you do that. And these are okay to overlap because you need them to overlap, because we'll have multiple layers of this paper mache, so they have to overlap anyway. So if you're getting overlapping, you're concerned about that, it's not a big deal. That's what you're supposed to do. We want a little bit of overlap. And you can smooth it with the brush or you could smooth it with your hand, but you really want to try to get all the lumps and bumps out of this. Any wrinkles, lumps, or bumps, make sure that you get it out of your paper mache, because when it dries, it'll really be bad. If it folds over, like I got a piece right here folded over, you want to make sure that you unfold it, because that might be a line. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit better there. I wouldn't make up too much of this paper mache. Like I said, maybe like a half a cup of the flour to start, and use all that up. And then once you're done with that, you know, make another half cup, because you don't want to make a whole bunch of paper mache and then you don't have enough time to put it on there, and then you have to throw it away. And then you may run out of flour, especially if you're at home. And I've sent those materials home to you. I don't know, some people may not have flour at home. Again, I could take my brush and smooth it out, trying not to fold over those edges. Making sure I have a nice solid coat here. Again, I'm getting this one folded up, so I want to unfold it. This one here, I don't have the paper mache up on the screen, so I'm going to pull this one off, get a little bit of paper mache on it, and put it back. And so I would say, you know, maybe for your first coat, if you can get one coat on this, then let it dry. You know, probably like 24 hours is all you need to do, is let it dry 24 hours and you're good. But, you know, it should be completely dry. Now the hardest parts, I think, are the parts inside there. You have to make sure you have really small pieces. Yes, and this is a bit messy.